chapter, and I'll start again. Hello, I'm Susan Asadi. I'm the executive director of this chapter, and I wanted to welcome you to our virtual meeting here in New York. And if you could please mute your phones, I'd appreciate it. Our growing chapter holds monthly in-person meetings, but we have decided to accommodate some of you who cannot attend in person to start to hold these virtual options. And this is the first one of those that we have scheduled. So I will be co-moderating this today with Natsuyo Lipschutz. She's the founder of BT Speaking, that beautiful woman up in the top left of my screen. And before we get started, can you please mute your phones, mute your mic on your audio on your computers, and also please change your title if you could and indicate whether you're a GC member. All you have to do is like Natsuyo and I have just GC in front of your name so that we know whether you're a member or not. That would be great. And you do that, where you do that is you go down to the bottom of the screen where it says participant, you click on your name, and then you go to the right where the three dots are and just rename yourself. Okay, so this way it will be easier for Natsuyo to facilitate and myself if I have any questions, whether you're a member or not. So one of the objectives here is with the people who are virtual, I wanted to review briefly what we did in our last in-person meeting on March 27th with Charles Bernard and I co-moderated. And we were pleased to welcome two new members at that meeting, Anthony DeFilippis, who's with Cargo Trans, and Nicola Milinkovic, who is here tonight from AIFS Professional Pathways. And just since that meeting, we added one other member, Manubu Sasaki, who's with Itachi. So if you're not a paid member yet of our chapter or Global Chamber, we hope that you'll be joining soon. So at our in-person meetings, we also provide a special window for members only to present in a 15-minute presentation in the Member World window. So last month, we heard business stories from our chapter members, two members from Wells Fargo, Nadeem Bahan and Abdul Rashid Abu Bakari from Wells Fargo, Stephanie Imeiser from New York City Navigator, and Monica Varas of Varas Insurance. So if you join, once again, you'll get that opportunity as well. So our next in-person meeting will be May 22nd at 5 p.m. So we will be getting you information on that one. And what we're doing now is Charles and I are queuing up 4 speakers for that meeting. So if you want to do the 15-minute window, and if you're a member, Marcia has already indicated, Marcia Needleman, who's here with us tonight, but I have 4 spots and I have 2 taken. So let us know quickly. Also, for our active New York City members, I wanted to say, I think business is already developing and we're establishing a lot of partnerships. So that's what all of this is about, is to help your business and to help Global Chamber grow. And that has been happening in a very dynamic way in the past 3 months. We have a very packed schedule coming up. I'm going to announce a couple of them, and then we're going to go right into the facilitated discussion by Natsuyo. On April 25th, we have a port tour of Port Liberty. I have only 1 spot left, and if you want to go, you better let me know soon. We're going to be carpooling and also going by public transit. So if you want to come, please let me know by direct email. And that will be led by JP Richer, who is on our advisory board. So he's going to describe what goes on at the port and tell what's going on there during the current time. On June 5th, we have a cross metro on AI coming up with our London chapter. So we've decided to join up for the 3rd year in a row to bring senior business leaders together. And we're going to be having a keynote presentation, and we're going to have a thought leadership panel, which will include AI experts and industry leaders. And that's going to include Charles Bernard for his company, Calavia, which is an AI software platform, Puya Lavian from Wells Fargo, and Sophie Male from New York City Economic Development Council. And the reason we're bringing them in is they've done a special report on New York City and AI. So we think that will be very interesting. And then we have one more event coming up. Just want to make sure you start to pencil these on your calendar. June 23rd, we have a presentation at Wells Fargo, which has come on as a sponsor for our chapter and for this event, at which we will hear from their senior economist, Charles Dougherty. And he's going to be, we're firming up the actual topic, but I assure you it will have something to do with trade and some of the Trump administration policies, and we're going to have a panel to follow. That event does carry a cost. That will cost $50. We're going to be having great speakers. We're going to have wine, beer, and appetizers. And so if you're interested in attending that, let me know. So at this time,
Susan, do you just want to mention, sorry to interrupt, if someone brings a guest, what the fee is?
Thank you, Charles. You can say it. Go ahead.
So it's $50 if you show up solo, but if you bring a guest, it's $35 each. $35 for your guest and $35 for you.
Thank you, Charles, for reminding me. And we will be getting those two events up on the website soon. We're finalizing the participants, and that should be up by next week for June 5 and June 23. So without further ado, I'm going to hand this over to Natsuyo Lipschutz, and she is going to be facilitating this conversation. And then I'll come back at the end and bring in Doug, Charles, and Cesar if they have anything to say for the close. Thank you, Natsuyo.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Susan. Hello, everybody. My name is Natsuyo Lipschutz, and I will be the facilitator today. And what I would like to do here is we have such a collection of knowledge and experience here in the room. So I want to go through each and every member to do what I call a fire, what I call it? Rapid fire intro. And I will give you 30 seconds to introduce yourself. And if you remember, you have 30 seconds, I just put in the chat, talk about what's your business and one or more fun facts about you. So what's your business and fun facts about you. And if you're a non-member, write in the chat a one-liner of your business and what brought you to this meeting today. So I'm going to set the timer. I'll be very strict about the timing because I know we can all talk on and on and on. And we want to leave enough time to have an important discussion. So 30 seconds. Okay. So I'll go first. Hi, I'm Natsuyo Lipschutz, Japanese native, but New Yorker at heart. I'm a Japanese-English bilingual keynote speaker, cross-cultural facilitator, and the first Japanese to receive a certified speaking professional in history. And I help global leaders transform cross-cultural barriers into high-performance drivers so that they can present, facilitate, and communicate effectively. And fun fact about me, I'm a figure skating daughter's mom and a competitive ballroom Latin dancer. And of course, I forgot to set the timer for myself, but I will do so starting, let's say, Charles, why don't you go ahead? Unmute yourself.
Thank you, Natsuyo. I'll take my 3 seconds back. Charles Bernard with Criteria for Success and Calavia, two companies that are sales, consultancy, and software as a service with AI. Fun fact, I am a Global Chamber member. Fun fact about me is I'm an avid scuba diver, and I just got back from a great scuba diving trip in Bonaire. And if anyone on this call knows about scuba diving, they know Bonaire is a scuba paradise.
Right, great. Right on time. Next, Thomas Cook. Unmute yourself.
Hello, everyone. I'm a new member. I just joined. I came through the parent group of this chamber. I run a company called Blue Tiger International. We're supply chain management consultants. We work in the area of navigating the challenges of global trade on behalf of importers and exporters. And we've developed 20 solutions for all these tariffs that we're hearing about. And at some point, my marketing manager is going to arrange some kind of webinar for your organization. Something funny about, if you see my background, you see all
right, that's 30 seconds. Just like Academy Award. that's time for you to exit the stage. All right, next, let's see. The next on my screen is Marcia. Marcia? Please unmute yourself.
It's Marsha. I'm an immigration lawyer. I have a practice in Midtown Manhattan, only immigration, mainly employment-based visas, but also family-based visas and citizenship as well. I love to travel, but I have done a lot of it, but I'm going on my first big cruise ship tour to Alaska in August. I've actually tried to avoid big cruises, but my sister and my whole family's going, so we are going, and I am excited. So.
Great. Well, thank you, Marcia. That's the end of it. Okay, stop the music. Okay. All right. So next on my screen is Incheon Lai. Unmute yourself and give us your intro.
Hi there, Yichun Lai at the Propel Global Professional. It's a boutique advisory firm I have created to help accelerate the responsible and purposeful adoption of artificial intelligence in financial services. Fun fact, we just got a second house in the Berkshires, and I'm a self-acclaimed ambassador for the Berkshires. I simply love it, and you can't stop me from talking about the Berkshires.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, so next is, I guess the music has to stop by itself. All right, next is Melanie Fox.
Hey everyone, I'm Melanie Fox, and they call me Speech Fox because speech is my niche, and I help my clients speak clear and confident English through accent reduction and presentation training. And I told you the last time I met about someone I helped in med-mal defense, so doctors, when they are not native-born English speakers and they take the stand, unfortunately the jurors are prejudiced. So I was speaking with a lot of folks that said you should meet other litigators because folks need asylum and they need to speak to administrative law judges and also to get their green card. Fun fact, everything I own is covered in glitter, including my technology and my stapler.
Love the glitter. Okay, thank you, Melanie. Next, Kwame. Am I pronouncing your name right?
Yes, you're right.
Okay, take it away.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kwame Sie. I'm with Literary Partners. I'm into everything trade, import and export, and I live in New York. Thank you.
You still have 20 seconds. Fun fact about you.
Well, I'll be traveling to Africa sometime in July.
Oh,
My home
sometime in
country,
July.
Ghana. Yes.
Is it hot? Is it really hot in July?
It depends on where you're located. So it varies.
All right, fun. Well, thank you, Kwame. Next, Nicola.
Hello, everyone. Nicola here from Professional Pathways. We are U.S. Department of State designated J1 intern and trainee visa sponsors. So we work with U.S. businesses and help them host top foreign talent, whether interns or trainees, meaning established professionals. Fun fact about myself is that I am from Serbia originally, and I'm a sport and performance psychologist. And I still consult professional athletes, business people, and stage performers, but do business development as well.
Right on time. Okay, Anthony Piccolo.
Yeah, hey everyone. I'm Anthony Piccolo, founder and CEO of Performance Scoring, and also proud to serve as the board chairman for the Global Chamber Dallas-Fort Worth chapter. Performance Scoring, we focus on boosting organizational engagement and performance through tailored meeting management solutions, enabling deeper understanding, clear communication, and effective decision making. Our platform streamlines meeting tracking, provides automated minutes, and allows for interactive discussion and voting on key issues. Nice to meet everyone.
All right, thank you. Jamil.
Hi, my name is Jamil. I am the CEO and founder of Just Your Broker Inc. It's a customs brokerage based in New York. Basically, what I do is help people clear customs, advise them on the government regulations, help with arranging delivery, let them know what their customs duties are. A fun fact about me is I like to do karaoke and paint. So those are the fun things that I like to do. Thank you.
Oh, I love karaoke too. Thank you, Jamil. Akila. Akila. that right? Are you there?
Hi everyone. So I'm just working with Global Chamber as a project manager. So I'm not like a member. So I'm just working with them as an intern. Thank you all.
Okay. Well, thank you for your service. Who else? Okay. So next, Manabu. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Sorry about
there
that.
you are.
Hello, everyone. Manabu Sasaki. I lead the corporate development of Itochu International, the North American headquarters of a Japanese multi-industry conglomerate, and do M&As and other new business development, strategic investments. Fun fact about me is I guess I share the same alma mater as Natsuyo, and I also play hockey to this age. But I think
All
I
right.
enjoy drinking beer more.
Thank you, Manabu. Okay. Let's see. Last but not
We
least,
need Ruby,
Theory?
Ruby, yeah, and Ruby from, yeah.
Okay, so let's go to Theory first. Are you there? Can you unmute yourself?
Go to Ruby.
Theory?
Go ahead.
I guess not. Okay, so let's go to Ruby.
Hi everyone, I'm Ruby Golo. I'm joining you guys from Michigan today, but I'm originally from Ghana. I run a consulting firm called Global Trade Consult, and we help companies expand into Ghana. I also double as the executive director for Global Chamber in Accra as well. Thank you. And
Thank you,
the fun
Ruby.
part
Yep.
of me is I love to cook.
Ooh, what kind of food?
Various type of food. I like to make a lot of salads and African dishes.
Healthy. All right.
Natsuya, we have Stephen Nikokiros. He didn't put GC by his name.
Okay, Stephen, where are you?
Hi.
Stephen. Hi, Stephen.
How are you?
30-second. Yeah, good. So 30-second intro.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just joining. I apologize. I am Stephen Nikokiros. I'm with the New York Metro Group. I'm a recent member, and I'm very excited to be working with Susan and Charles and trying to really expand the New York Chamber. And it's exciting. I'm trying to just figure out all the benefits and all the things available to global members. So I'm a little busy. I'm an accountant, but I just jumped on quickly, and I'm happy to meet everybody and learn more about what the chamber has to offer.
All right, great. Well, you must be really, really busy today and tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's see if Theory is back. Theory? Oh, are you there? Oh no, my Siri responded, not Siri, you. I'm gonna shut you off. Doug, do you want to go, or do you want to speak at the end, or do you want to go?
I'll introduce myself. I'm Doug
Sure.
Brunke. I'm the founder and CEO of Global Chamber. I'm here because global is important, and we need to speak out, we need to act, and we need to be more connected globally. A fun fact, I am from Westchester County, born in Mount Kisco, New York, but I spent the weekend, the summers on Long Island, in Valley Stream, West Hempstead. And so I spent a lot of time in Queens as well. I've been to 66 countries, and I'll be to the 67th Tanzania for a Global Chamber event in July.
Wow.
Wow. Well, thank you
Way to
so
time
much,
that,
Doug.
Doug.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so I guess I went through everyone, all the members. Has any of the member not introduced yourself yet?
Is Cesar on? I don't know if Cesar's on or not. No. Okay.
I guess we're good.
Yeah, that's good.
Right.
Go.
Okay. Yeah. So we have a lot of experience and talent here, and what I would like to do is to have some interactive conversation related to global business, and everyone must be really concerned about this hot topic, tariffs, right? It's a huge topic, and today we have a special guest, Wendy Shen, and we are going to hear from her especially about this tariff topic because it's such an important topic now. So we invited her to speak to us about and share with us some expertise. And just a brief introduction of Wendy. So Wendy Shen is a global entrepreneur and CEO of Flomo and Naigala. Did I say it right? Naigala Corp. And with 30 years of experience in product innovation, exporting, importing, and global sourcing in gift bags, crafting, stationery, and holiday merchandise. And she's also a member of New Jersey District Export Council. So that's where she comes in to talk about tariffs. So Wendy, welcome to Global Chamber New York chapter. And so what's going on with tariffs and what does it mean to us? Well, if you can walk us through in 3 to 5 minutes, that'll be great.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think, first of all, thank you, Doug, inviting me and found me in LinkedIn. And this is very excited. I'm very happy to be able to meet everybody. I'm not as expert as everybody. I'm sure I'm expert in my business or in all the retail, wholesale, manufacturer aspect. I'm sure there are so many experiences expert here, but I would love to share what is happening to us right now. And as a small business, I grow from, I'm a woman-owned and minority-owned business. I grow from my business from 200 square feet to 100,000 square feet now. This is within 30 years. There's a lot of work. First 10 years is very hard to break the US business. And then gradually from US, we do import, we do export, things like that. So there's a lot of tension right now and pressure because it's tariffs. Tariffs for the government probably is economical tool to have both country to be agree on certain things. But for small business, everything is number. Our cash flow. A lot of people didn't talk about cash flow situation, right? We import about $1 million a month. Thinking of how much tariffs we have to pay, it's $1.5 million to about $2 million a month. How are we going to get that cash to be able to pay in advance before selling anything? A lot of major retailers in the US is right now asking for 30, 60, 90, 120 days because the interest rate inflation that we still have going on. Most of the retailer they're using us as a supplier as their bank. So we have to give 60 day, 90 day, 120 day in order to sell to a major retailer. That's our business. So this is like a real life, the real tariff consequence happening to small business. And we actually have to find way to deal with it because a lot of people know that 145% from China, but actually it's additional 145%. It's not only 145. When you added up different things, 10%, 10%, 34%, it becomes 200% now what we are paying it. So everything is already stopped and paused. They're not shipping from China now. China have to set up a factory in Vietnam, in Cambodia, Indonesia, and other places. And right now, that places before is 46%, 49%. Now it's putting in the pause for 10%. So everything adding a lot of product costs and also deliver time. And even 90 day, we don't know what happened. It's going to be 90 day happening to the sources from Asia. So 90 days is very short for everybody to prepare to set up a factory in another country. Of course, we evaluate more to see how we're going to get partner to establish the factories in US, but that means everything can produce in US. There's no material, there's no labor, there's no machinery and equipment we will be able to produce what we do as a party stage now because it's very low ticket item. We are not in the chips semiconductor industry. We are not in the printer or computer industry. We are selling product or gift bag. You're buying a birthday gift bag that we're selling to the store at 50 cents, 80 cents, and they sell $1 or $1.99. Those are low-end product that won't be able to really produce in the US market. So all the things is happening. I feel like my personal opinion is, first of all, diversified. The couple of things that we are doing right now with diversify the customer, diversify the source to see where we can source it. A lot of country in Central South America at a lower tariff. That's something that you can diversify. We want to understand tariff code. Is any code that we didn't do it correctly? Maybe we can lower the tariff. We want to communicate with our stakeholders, the customers, even vendors, employee, and all these things, what's happening. And also dealing with a scenario plan. We need to have a backup, plan A, plan B situation. So this is something that what we are doing now. I just want to share with I feel like tariffs become a political risk, and everybody needs to know, not only doing the business. I think it's important for us, we all know, under geopolitical risk, and to see how we're going to navigate better. It's not only navigate tariffs only, it become a geopolitical risk situation. It's a global risk. I'm very happy, and thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate the time.
Well, thank you so much, Wendy. Well, like you said, we have to find a way to deal with it, right? And you said one of the keys to do so is to diversify customers, diversify sources, and also making sure you have various tariff codes and talk to all the stakeholders, right? Yeah. So diversification is a key. That's the takeaway I got from Wendy. What about others? How are these tariffs impacting your business, or what's your plan? What's your strategy? Anyone?
Wendy, hi, this is Steve Nicokiris. I'm a CPA and I represent companies just like you that are selling product that are being made all over the world. A lot of the product is being made in China, and it's not so easy. What you're saying makes perfect sense, but how could you do this it's impossible to do this in 90 days. And if you have 146% increase, so if your cost is doubling, in 90 days, you have, how can you do business? I mean, that's unfathomable. I'm trying to how it's impossible to go to your customer. I mean, they're not going to want to pay double. They're going to have to pay double the price in order for you to make some kind of margin. So how do you expect this to work, at least in the near 30, 60, 90 days? Any goods coming in the next month are going to be subject to the tariff. You might have had goods that you've already put in work and they're on the boat or they're leaving. You have orders. I just don't understand. I'm trying to understand how realistically companies can adjust to this so quickly.
Right. Can I answer the question, Natsuko?
Yes. Go
okay,
ahead.
yeah. So I think international expansion is one of the strategy that we're working on. A lot of goods that are actually stock in China that we are not asking them to ship, because the product that we are increasing in the prices make the price adjustment. For example, retail $4.99 become retail $12.99. That kind of a pricing because the tariff. So good things that we are in the export business for a long time. So we have a customer in Mexico, in Europe, and also Central South America. Our strategy is try to do the more international expansion so we can ship directly from China, from Southeast Asia to those countries. So so we can help our vendors that they don't stock those merchandise.
Yeah, thank you, Wendy. So, well, we got 60 to 90 days to do something about that, and that's a short amount of time. So you have to have a certain strategy built in already, right? So that and you need to really quickly take it into an action. So who else has a strategy or a creative strategy? Thomas?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a conversation to have in a brief period, but over the 30 years that we've been in business, we've developed 20 solutions to mitigate tariffs. And while some of them do take more than a 90-day period to enact, probably about 5 or 6 of them can be done within a 60 to 90-day window. As an example, companies could set up foreign trade zones where instead of importing a finished product, they can import parts and components from overseas. When those parts and components come into the foreign trade zone, they come in without being customs cleared and without paying duty or taxes. And then you can assemble in that foreign trade zone. And it's only when the goods come out do you have the obligation to pay duty? And you have an unlimited amount of time. There's no time limit in a foreign trade zone. So if you bring it out 6 months later, you get the cash flow advantage of 6 months. But the other advantage that you get is that you could look at your harmonized tariff number and the duty rate of the part, material, or component against the HTS number of the finished product, and you can pick whichever one provides you the lower duty rate. So foreign trade zones is a very significant way that companies can help mitigate the impact of tariffs, not only in this time when Trump is going nuts on putting all these directives out, but it's been a product for lots of U.S. and foreign companies here in the United States. Almost all your car manufacturers today from all over the world, and the U.S. manufacturers as well, actually don't really manufacture, they assemble cars in these foreign trade zones. They buy the parts and components from all over the world.
Yeah, I was watching the news, actually Japanese news this morning, and they were saying, what if, let's say, a Chinese company manufactures everything in China, but they bring the goods in Japan and just package them in Japan? Can they claim that they're from Japan?
Well, the big issue there is that
No.
you're in total violation of customs law, and when something is done intentionally and egregiously, then it rises to the level of being criminal. So we don't want to go down the path of shipping goods through other countries and say they're the countries of origin. The country of origin is where did it become what it is, where the substantial transformation came to make it a car or a toy or a piece of clothing or whatever it may be. So transshipping can be done to facilitate logistics, but not for facilitating incorrectly declaring the goods to U.S. Customs.
I see. Well, thank you so much, Thomas. Anyone else has some input as to how to go about these tariffs? Manabu, you're in import business as well, or at least Itochu is.
Yes.
Any thoughts on this?
Well, right now it's still, because of the uncertainty and how things are going to play out, it's really hard to formulate a strategy, to be honestly speaking. And I don't have, honestly speaking, all the information because the business divisions are working on the commercial, arrangements with their suppliers, clients, and all that. So, like right now, as of now, it's 10%. So, except for automobile parts and a couple other things.
Right.
Right now, I guess
For Japan, yeah.
Yeah, and Japan as well. Actually, Japan, is well, that's another story. But anyway, we're trying to figure out what we have to obviously revise our expected budget for this fiscal year. And assuming there's going to be a higher cost. And I think someone said diversification and all that. So that's all going to play. Itochu globally, we do business all around the world. So, we would probably do business, including China or other countries outside the US if we can capture the market there. So from a global standpoint, that's diversification. But from where it stands for the US, Itochu International, what matters is how much business we can continue to do here. And that's yet to be seen on whether it's going to pause 90 days and whether it's going to be extended, or is it going to be really slapped at that whatever percentage, which most people probably wouldn't agree to that percentage. At least economists don't agree to it. But I think we have to brace that, and it's still an ongoing process of trying to figure out what to do.
Absolutely. It's an ongoing process. And just one last question about this topic, tariff. So diversification is key. However, if you're a small business and if you're not diversified and you got 90 days, then what? Are you screwed? Maybe going back to Wendy?
Yes, we still have a lot of customers
Yes, we're
waiting.
screwed.
I don't know. I think it's a lot of merchants that probably will have to sweep into the next year. Because, for example, we already have Halloween products supposed to ship. Are we shipping now? Of course, in China, no, we are not shipping now. So those merchandise will stock. If everything is settled and with a lower percentage, well, Halloween will go to the next year. But Christmas, hopefully that we can be able to still sell Christmas.
Gosh, we're already talking about
If I,
Christmas.
if I may,
Yeah, we're
if I
shipping
may
Christmas
jump
Got to
in.
work
next
backwards,
month.
yes.
Yeah, Manabu.
Now, if I may jump in, and this is not just Itochu, but I guess what's going on is negotiating price. So everybody's going to probably bear somewhat, like the suppliers, they would have to discount, they were probably asked to discount their price. So whatever tariff that's going to be applied, that's going to be transferred to the customer, but it's probably impossible to double the price or whatever. So the importer is going to take a hit as well as the consumer is going to get a hit of whatever price increase that's going to be implemented. So that's the issue here. So, and the question will be whether the world, the consumers, include basically, I guess the biggest question is, what is this really benefit for the U.S.? And many global
Yeah, that's
economists
another
think
big topic.
it's not going to achieve what Trump administration is trying to do.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's a factor we have to see. And then it gets more political with the economic effects that
Right.
might
Well, Trump says he knows what he's doing, so let's see what happens. So in June, in 2 months, we have an event specifically talking about tariffs. So if you're interested in furthering the discussion about tariff topic, come to our event in June, and Susan will mention that event in a little more detail later. So another hot topic is DEI. So there are some changes in DEI since the Trump administration started. So have these recent changes in DEI shifted how your company or clients think about inclusion? How has this DEI initiative impact your business? I'm going to call on the smiley face, Jamil.
It has an impact in my business because I'm the only person. No, I have no issues with getting clients. I think as long as you provide the service that they need, which I work nights and weekends, which is a benefit to my clients for customs brokerage, they don't have a problem working with me. So I haven't had any issues in reference to that.
Great, good for you. Has
you.
anyone experienced any impact or are any of your clients changing their plan or initiatives?
I can speak.
Yeah, Nicola.
I can speak to that. As we host foreign interns and trainees coming to the U.S., I would say it's more the way we shift the language, because we used to talk about host companies here diversifying through this international cultural exchange program of the J1 visa. And that is the core of, that's the beautiful thing about it. But now, because of the terminology, what can we say? What can we not say? People do know that that's what it's about, but I think we're just more shifting the language in terms of, okay, what are some other benefits that host companies have by hosting top foreign talent? And then we can talk about even the economical impact that they have that, annually, I think the stats are something along the lines of that, foreign interns and trainees contribute to more than $220 million a year. So, we can shift the language around different ways and benefits that host companies, around different benefits that host companies have by hosting foreign talent. But at the core, it's still diversity is still, and cultural exchange is still at the core of it. So,
yeah,
it's just about, we had to change some of our official documents to amend diversity with, other terminology, or just kind of take it out. So it is strange because you have to go back and then change documents that have been there for a long time. But but you know, I mean, and there is a lot of anxiety and fear among foreign nationals about just in general coming to the US. If
Yeah.
we do, even if we're eligible, are we going to be deported then just randomly or not? You know, so
Right.
there is a lot of fear and anxiety. So we're really dealing with that as well, trying to just educate and calm people down and make them understand that, you know, certain visa types have support and that they are fairly stable, but the uncertainty is inevitably there, because you know, we just don't know if travel bans are in place. Then it doesn't matter what visa you have, you simply cannot fly. So
Right. Yeah.
so dealing
Yeah.
with
I mean,
dealing with uncertainty at that emotional level and with fear and anxiety really is actually at the forefront now.
yeah, fear and
because of
anxiety
because of
are
everything.
real. I'm a green card holder. I'm not a citizen, and my green card is up for renewal in 2 years. So I'm a little bit worried about what's going to happen. So, you know, I'm totally with you. And talking about shifting the language. Oh, by the way, Incheon, you had your hand up.
Yeah, just maybe very quickly, because inclusion and diversity has always been my passion. So I just wanted to share my thoughts. I have seen people, companies started to reframe the language, which I think is a practical thing to do. So for example, Women Network now is more like inclusion driven, which I think is a good thing, because there are certain things that have gone impractical in some case. So if we look at it as kind of a refocus opportunity to really amplify certain things such as inclusion, etc., and focus on more exactly in reality what's happening, rather than focusing on the languages, which actually have been a little bit going too far in terms of just talking about it rather than doing it. So it's a chance for us to really focus on, okay, exactly who's doing what to really continue to foster the inclusion. That's kind of my take on it. In terms of business directly, I do see actually people who actually do believe in this to really band together and really try to support each other in terms of women, in terms of minority. And that's also, it's not visible and people don't talk about it, but I think it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, you know, whenever a huge change happens, whether it's a positive change or negative change, people are reluctant to change, right? And, you know, DEI is one of these changes that we have to reframe the way we think, or how we approach DEI, whether it's a shift in the language or it. You can see it as an opportunity to rethink about what really is the value the DEI initiative or our DEI initiative is bringing in, and communicate the core value instead of talking about something on the surface and how to name it, but what exactly is a value we're offering, and that's really key. But that being said, the language, shifting the language is still important. How to communicate your program or your initiative, how to name it, how to frame it. So communication is really key, especially when it comes to diversity or cultural differences, right? So I wanna ask this question to Melanie, a communication specialist, and I'm also a cross-cultural communication strategist. But how when you're dealing with cross-culture or different people with different backgrounds or different values, what would be how do you make sure that your message lands across different cultures or different age groups or, you know, different people?
Sure. So first, I wanted to note that I noticed prior to this administration, a lot of departments were using diversity and inclusion, DNI, DEI, DEIA, DEIB, all the acronyms. And now, in the last few months, I've heard some folks say that they renamed the team, and it might be like leadership and inclusion or something diversity. So it's like they're not using all three words; they're using one word among others, because they still want, you know, some big companies still want that support, but they just don't want to have the stigma of that title. So it's kind of interesting. But anyway, back to the question of how I might speak to people to make sure my message lands. Well, first, I like to come from a place of understanding and being a bit vulnerable myself. So I'm a human being. If I say a word that someone doesn't like or say something that is not quite what someone else has in mind, I like to leave a lot of openings for folks to participate, right? So if I'm doing a presentation or if I'm delivering a message in a seminar, I like to make it a very friendly environment. So if anybody has a difference of opinion or a difference in the way they want something said, they feel free to participate and tell me. That said, I also try to stay away from political topics in general because I do not have expertise in politics, and I try to stay away from religion and other things. So there's just certain things that I try not to touch in anything that I that I do, because my area is communication and not talking about things that are highly sensitive in that way. So some of what I do, luckily, I can sidestep some things that maybe someone who is an economist or working in the government cannot. But when it comes to actually making sure a general message lands, if I have a mixed audience, I like to make sure that I'm speaking at a pace that is conducive to everyone understanding whether they're a native speaker or not. As a native New Yorker, that is the biggest challenge for me because we are fast talkers. And I also do work with Disability In, and they have an American Sign Language interpreter. And if you speak very quickly, they can't keep up. Any interpreter would have trouble keeping up, but especially an ASL person. So speed is good if you're speaking to a mixed audience, to try to slow down. I also try to, I mean, this is a general principle, but to try to build on shared knowledge. It's never nice to feel left out if you're delivering content. So if you're delivering content to a mixed group, the idea is that any content, you don't want to leave people behind and say words and lingo that they're not going to understand and then later maybe fix it. So if I'm delivering a speech to a group, especially with non-native speakers, and I'm using words or idiomatic expressions or something that not everyone knows, I like to explain it either right then and there or even before I say the word. So I just think being empathetic, if I am saying something that is a cultural reference, I may couch that this is something that I do in my life, or, not just making assumptions about what people do, what people know, and what people believe in. But yeah, I think these are sort of evergreen things, but being extra cautious with with assumptions when the audience is not may share different cultures,
Right.
And also being careful with gestures.
Yeah. Well, there are so many things you need to be aware of when you're speaking to a global audience. And interesting thing about assumptions, making the right assumptions about what they might be thinking is really key to build a connection with your audience. And often I say your own assumption or your own common sense is a killer. Because what's a common sense in your culture may not be a common sense for you. So I would say common sense is the number one thing that stands between you and your culturally diverse audience. So and I don't have my props today, but when I give my keynote, I use this stacks of glasses, and we all have our own layers of assumptions, and our value may be influenced by our family, that's one layer, or friends, that's another layer, or colleagues, or industries. So it's like stacks of glasses you're wearing, and you don't even know that you're wearing those layers. And that's how we look at the world. And that's how common sense, your version of common sense is formed. And we need to remove those layers and understand that your common sense and my common sense may be different. So that's the start of understanding each other cross-culturally. And that being said, then what are they thinking? What are they looking for? And what are they interested in, or what are they fearing? Right? You want to do some research and analysis, and then you come up with a hypothesis that this might be that's what you call, Melanie, an assumption, the right assumption, or I call it hypothesis. this might be the message they're looking for. And then you target toward those message and you clarify your message into what I call one big message, the most important message you want your audience to take away. And what is it in short phrase? So that's how I approach landing your message across different cultures. So we have about 5 minutes left. I want to, well, this is all great conversations, and we quickly went over tariffs and DEI and some cross-cultural communication. I want to ask some of the members, what kind of support or connections would really help your global growth this year? What kind of support or connections? Well, not necessarily within Global Chamber, but any support or connections that would really help your global growth this year? Someone who hasn't spoken yet, Marcia? Unmute? Can you unmute?
Yes, I have to from down there. Well, I mean, everything I do is global. So everything I do is, it's immigration. Needless to say, we are in an extremely difficult environment for immigration, given what is going on from this administration. But we are continuing to process our applications and advocate for our clients. A lot of litigation is being brought. I myself am not a litigator, but many clients, many colleagues of mine are, and organizations like the ACLU, to protect our clients and make sure that we still have a First Amendment and due process. But what I do is mainly work with international companies across all sectors, across all growth phases, across all sizes. So all those connections, anybody who's in that space or works with that space, which is a lot of people in this group, is great for me.
If not
As I say,
everyone.
we do mostly, what?
Probably everyone.
Yeah, in
Yeah,
some ways.
Yeah.
And we do, work with, green card holders, people seeking citizenship.
me.
Yes, you're one of them. And we can talk about that offline, but everybody is having the same fears that you are, even people who are here completely lawfully, could be for 30 years. And the conversations are, should I travel? What should I do? Should I go for citizens? Should I do this? Should I keep, under the radar? And I have to give answers that I never thought in my wildest dreams would come out of my mouth in America. But unfortunately, they are. But moving forward, doing business and bringing people in and advocating, and that's what I seek to do.
All right. Well, keep doing what you're doing. What about your Ruby? What kind of support or connections would really help your global growth this year?
So for me, basically, anyone with appetite for Africa, most especially Ghana, whoever wants to expand into that market, I'm happy to provide that support.
Is there any industry sector or
We
area
cover all
that you're...
sectors, so it all depends on what you want to achieve. We just tailor our services to meet your specific objectives.
Okay, all right. Non-members. What about you, Cindy? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I'm also an avid multitasker, so yeah.
Like
It
we
took
all
me-
are.
Yeah.
So global growth.
Mhm.
What kind of support or connections? What kind of connections are you looking for to help your global growth?
Wow. Okay. I mean, I wrote down in the chat that I'm an American accent coach. So what I do is quite similar to what Melanie does, except with less of a focus on the speaking, like the public speaking elements of it. And I think for me to succeed, I just need to keep building my reach and meet more people who are non-native speakers of English who might want.
Networking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Who might want
such as joining the Global Chamber. This is a great place, right?
Yeah, although I've never been to New York, so I don't know if I'll be
Well,
able to make it to
you're based in Chicago, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's a chapter in Chicago as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. And what about you, Israel? Who do you want to meet?
Hi, how are you? Well, I am a founder and CEO of Level Executives. We are an international executive search consultant firm. I am based in Mexico City, but we also have an office in New York, in Manhattan, very close to Grand Central Terminal. I visit New York once a month for business purposes. And the kind of connections and help that I would like to receive is company owners with any need of talent that we can help them to find the best candidates to fit on their culture and also the skills and experience that they're looking for. So
Okay.
we're trying to expand our business and to grow the business in the US. And that's pretty much what I will be looking for.
Okay,
And also,
sounds great. Yeah.
and also very available to help on any information about the talent environment and trying to be a good member. I am a guest today, and
you're
I
going to be a
like.
member today
I think
after
I
this
will.
call?
I think I will. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So it sounds like,
Mm-hmm.
well, join Global Chamber New York City is the key for growth, global growth.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everyone. And with that, I will hand it over to Susan.
Natsuyo, you rocked it. This was a great meeting, really interesting topics. I've never seen people be so stimulated in this conversation. I mean, we've had some really good meetings, but thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you.
So, well, I think just the close and Natsuyo throwing it to Israel, who was one of my guests that I met indirectly through one of our other members. I think you will begin as the people who are on the call and not members yet to see what the benefits of Global Chamber are. And just Israel's example, I'm sure Doug's ears may have peaked. He has a very strong presence in Mexico and has an office in New York. So right away, people like Israel, if you became a member of this chapter, and I think I had this conversation with you, you would be a member, you would have access to you would have access to meetings for all of our chapters, including Ghana, where Ruby is, including Chicago, including around the world. So that is the benefit of becoming a member of Doug Brunke's dream of the Global Chamber. So for a little bit of money, you get to come for a year. Okay. So, I think I've discussed it with some of you. Yes, exactly. Great. So I think for entrepreneurs, 1 to 5 is $500. For 5 to 50 employees is $1,250. So it's not a lot of money. If you look at a lot of the other networking groups around the world and in New York and in the major markets, there's a lot of benefits for coming here. So that is the basic thing about memberships. And I want to remind you for this type of virtual meeting that once again, next month, Natsuyo is going to be my co-facilitator, our co-facilitator, not mine. May 12th at 5 p.m. So mark your calendars if you want to come to something dynamic like this. And members like Wendy, potential members, you get to come 2 times and then you got to join. Okay. So I would love for you to join. And I think, we like you to come as much as possible, but you come 2 times as our guests. And after that, we really want to encourage you to join. And as we mentioned before, our chapter is sponsoring 2 events, June 5, June 23. And the June 5, again, is the Cross Metro with London, focused on AI. June 23 is going to be the big networking event at Wells Fargo, and you're going to hear from a senior economist from Wells Fargo. And we also will be discussing tariffs in that as well and what's going on with global trade. And our next in-person meeting will be at Stephen Nikokiris' office at CBiz on May 22nd at 5 o'clock. And we really encourage, if you can, for you to come to the in-person meetings because so much dynamic has already been occurring between our members. Like I know Marcia and engagement. Nicola, I've already made some dynamic. There are people that are meeting in these meetings and they're starting to do business. So without further ado, right at the top of the hour, I think I'm done. I'd like to give Charles and Doug a minute to speak if they have something to say. Charles is my advisory board chair, and let's let Doug close it out.
Well, thank you to Natsuyo. Great job and wonderful timekeeping. It's really, really hard to keep a group like this on point and on time. So thank you for doing that. And thank you to Doug for creating the space. So that's your lead-in, Doug.
Thank you, Charles, and thank you for the dynamic that you brought to the chapter to increase interest, increase excitement, increase engagement, and increase membership. You're amazing in everything you do, from your traditional work to Calavia to your knowledge about AI and sales leadership. Susan, thank you for all that you're doing as well, and Natsuya, you're amazing. That was a great meeting. I would say I would like to leave you with hope. We've heard a lot of challenges today, but there's an infinite number of opportunities globally, and that's what we're all about, is identifying and actually implementing opportunities. And I think there's amazing hope. And one of the latest books I've read is The Book of Hope, which I recommend, by Jane Goodall. And she talks about how there's 4 reasons why we should have hope. Number 1, the amazing human intellect. Number 2, the resilience of nature. Number 3, the power and dedication of young people. And number 4, the indomitable human spirit. And I think you've seen that indomitable human spirit here in all of you. And together, we can make progress despite all of these challenges. So thank you all for attending today. Look forward to working with you.
Bye, everybody. See you soon.
All right. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care.